Can you lose your salvation? A very hot topic within Christianity. Now, Jesus said, whoever believes in me has everlasting life. Everlasting life means unending life, which is why Jesus can also utter synonymous phrases framed in the negative, like in John 11, whoever believes in me will never die. Eternal life can be possessed now, right at the moment of belief. 1 John 5:11-13 says, John writes these things to you that believe, that you may know that you have, present tense possession, eternal life. John 6:47, whoever believes in me has, present tense possession, everlasting life. So if you have eternal life, you cannot lose it, because then it wouldn't have been eternal. Think about it like this. If someone possessed eternal life at 18 years old, and then Jesus said they will never perish, according to John 10:28, then perishing later, dying later, would either mean that Jesus lied, which is impossible, or that they never had eternal life to begin with, which we already assumed for sake of this argument. Now, some argue that eternal life is proleptic, which means that it's kind of an already not yet. However, first of all, this is just an assertion. You can't just claim that. And secondly, numerous passages in the Bible discuss our present possession of eternal life and similar salvific promises like the forgiveness of sins. Hebrews 10, where it talks about he has perfected us forever. Furthermore, John 11:26 shows that this promise applies while living and believing, not after death. Jesus says, whoever lives and believes in me will never die. This eternal life does not apply to those only after they die, as one condition of it is to be a living person. Now, some argue that Christ is eternal life, so therefore you can lose him. However, this first of all does not circumvent the prior logic, as it's still eternal. It's also important to note that this phrasing in 1 John, where it calls Christ the eternal life, is a rhetorical device meant to convey that Jesus is the source, he's the giver of eternal life. He's not the abstract concept of life itself, because elsewhere it calls Jesus the truth. Jesus says, I am the resurrection in John 11. The concept of truth is not the same as the concept of eternal life or resurrection. So he can't simultaneously be all three of these things since they're distinct. So he supplies them. When it says I am the resurrection, it means he has power over it. He supplies resurrection, but he's not logically the concept of eternal life or resurrection, right? So in summary, John 5:24 also confirms this, that believers have passed from death to life, and they shall never come into condemnation. Once you have eternal life, it's yours forever, right?